Welcome back to Buffering. Featuring Chloe Jacobs.
I was going to do an event at an Arkansas museum here in Little Rock, and it got shut down.
The museum did, or the event? Oh,
the event did.
So that's where I was going. It's like, because you talking about being progressive, and you're, been a part of planting the seeds and sort of like helping move everything forward by participating in the drag queen story hour at libraries and universities.
At Fort Smith.
Okay, so talk about a little bit of that, like where you've done that and how it goes.
So I've gotten to do the drag queen story hour at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. I've done it at the University, Arkansas State University in Jonesboro.
Okay.
I did it somewhere else. I did it in Fayetteville during their Pride Parade at the Arts Center there.
Okay.
And I was going to do it here in Little Rock whenever we had Pride.
Okay.
But they shut it down.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I have all the questions about this.
Okay.
So, because nationally, I kind of thought that this was occurring more in public libraries, but it sounds like you're doing it more on college campuses. Mm-hmm. So, what's the audience for that? Do parents bring kids to campus?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
At Fort Smith, luckily, it worked in my favor. I mean, because whenever that first happened and I saw that an Arkansas senator had made a post about it that made it go viral, I kind of was like, no.
So let's get up to speed with that. So was this your first?
This was the very first one that I would be doing.
And was it, to your knowledge, the first one that happened in Arkansas? Or
mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Arkansas's first drag queen story hour that you're going to be part of in Fort Smith, Arkansas legislator Jason Raver, who is a very conservative, anti-gay voice, made a post about it.
He's a good friend.
Yeah. We're acquainted these days.
Made a post about it and made it go viral and made all this controversy surrounding it.
Yeah, he basically had said something along the lines of, is this what we want our tax dollars paying for on like our Arkansas school campuses and stuff? And I think he's actually pretty big in the literacy, like for schools. That's what like one of his platforms is. Which blows my mind.
Biblical literacy.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah,
honey,
probably it.
For real though.
That's
yeah, but like BC, girl. But so he made the post and was like, "Is this what we want our tax dollars paying for?" First of all, there was no money given for it. It was complete voluntary. There was no nobody's time. And he was like, we shouldn't be doing this here. And I was like, all right, nope, not doing it. I told myself I was not doing it. I was like, I don't want this kind of like rep. I don't want my name to be put out there. Like it kind of scared me for a second because you never know how people are going to be, Like,
so were you named in his post? Or?
Yeah. Oh, my picture was fully on his post. He had shared like the event with my picture on it.
And were you the only queen as part of that one? Okay.
The only queen on there. Yeah. So it was I was scared. I was nervous.
What for people who
I just didn't want
make you a target or whatever?
Yeah. That people would now know who I was, people would search me out, or people would show up there and protest or something like that. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Okay. If this is coming from an Arkansas senator, I was like, no, I want no part in this. Absolutely.
Okay, so then what happened?
So I didn't say anything. I just talked to I think I actually talked to Jamie Wilson in Fayetteville, and I was like, Jamie, what do I do? I need some help here. I need some advice.
Jamie, who owns C4
Nightclub Lounge. And he was like, this is on you. You're the one that has to make this decision, whatever you want to do. And I was like, you know what? Why am I saying no to this? This could be completely to my advantage right now, and I need to share this. And that's when I made the post that was like, I need everyone to go on this thing, and I need everyone to say, no, we support Chloe. We think this is something that needs to happen in Arkansas, to push forth, to do it.
Well, yeah, even beyond it being potential that could be to your advantage, I mean, do it because you fucking resist and aren't going to be bold,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that was I was doing it at that point I agreed to it more for my people more than I did for myself.
Right.
Because it was like, okay, well then I need to be the one to stand
Yeah.
up to him,
Yeah.
and I need to go up there and do it for everyone else that can't do it.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I did it.
How'd it go?
So I guess he had talked to someone that was in the school.
When was this?
This was it had to have been in January of last year.
2019?
Yeah,
Okay.
2019, because I was just seeing the post come up on my memories
Okay.
not too long ago. I guess he had talked to someone from the school, and because I was in contact with, I think his name's Jason from the University of Arkansas at the library system up there.
Okay.
And he said, okay, so Jason has sent an email to the school, and they basically came to an agreement that, which I feel like the university backed down on, and they shouldn't have, but that's not my place to say. I can understand where they're coming from. That the only way that we could continue forth with it is if their name was not associated with it. Even though they were hosting it on their campus in their library is public. So as long as the University of Arkansas Fort Smith was not associated with it, then we could have it there. And so we went ahead and did it. And I mean, we had parents that were like, we took our kids out of school to bring them up here. Adults were there. And never once was it ever anything that one kid was like, are you a man? They don't know any different. They just think that you're this pretty princess. You're all done up. You're up there like living your best life and reading them a story.
Who painted you then?
Me? Y'all can see my eyes right now. Who painted you? Girl! The gag. I painted myself the night before and slept.
Oh, girl, I've heard of many queens doing that.
I almost did this morning.
I always, like, regardless of how messed up, if I'm, like, drunk or anything, like, it's always
Y'all almost saw me in the same makeup from last night while ago. That's why I had to get a shower.
I've never slept in my makeup.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But doing the one in Fort Smith, it gave me the opportunity to push it in Jonesboro for them to have it. Jonesboro, Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas at that. And I did one up there.
Uh-huh.
And there was like 3 or 4 of us that did it. 3 or 4 queens did it up there.
How was the attendance? Like, how many kids did you get to come out, like, each time?
So I would say that Fort Smith was probably the biggest one.
Okay. Thank you, Jason Raper.
Yeah. Thank you. Publicity free. Thank you.
Yeah, he literally caused it to get to a
blow
bigger
up, because
event.
I don't think that really a lot of people would have even known about it.
Uh-huh.
Jonesboro, there wasn't a huge attendance. I would say there was maybe like 25, 30 there. But still, for Jonesboro, I think that's really good.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking.
Fayetteville, it was during their Pride Parade, so of course it was packed, in that library. I want to push it more. I think that we should have more of them, and we were trying to do it, I think, at Little Rock, like I said, and that one had gotten shut down for the library system. I don't know what had gotten
When was this supposed to occur?
Not this last Pride, but the Pride before last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of remember.
Because I think they ended up actually reading on the stage during Pride Fest versus switching it over and going somewhere different.
Were there ever any protesters, like on like the main day, like I guess Fort Smith?
No, there wasn't any.
Or not? Was it Fort Smith that was the one?
Yeah.
The first one,
Yeah.
yeah. There was none.
Huh.
Oh,
There was none.
So, just our neighbor to the north, back on the Drag Queen Story Hour, in Missouri, they have filed legislation to, I guess, ban drag queen story hours in the state of Missouri. And the drag queens
I don't even
there.
understand how that is even possible, like freedom of speech. And like, how do you do that with a public library system? Was it through a public library system that they're trying to ban that?
I would imagine. I mean, that's what the government, would have.
It's just insane.
I think that honestly, I think that this would never even be a thing if the word drag was in front of it. If it wasn't in front of it.
Yeah.
I think
if
if
it
they
was just
put
Queen Story.
Queen Story Hour. I think if they just put Queen Story Hour, nobody would ever even like.
But why? But why be
Why
like
back down
covert
to-
with it? Or
Right.
we're not trying to be.
But even like femme queens, what's that? Like, could they show up and they could read it in all their glory?
Gia Gunn come
Yeah.
up, absolutely.
Yeah, and read her story. But that really, that goes to the trans thing, and why can't they do that? If they wanted to go to a public library and read to them.
Sure. I mean, obviously, we're evolved and, intelligent enough to know that it's bullshit. But,
Right. The world
unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are in a different place than we are mentally.
Sad.
Do you
Just
plan
so
to...
bothered about it.
The Missouri Queens are organizing like a protest, a march or something, and they've invited queens from anywhere to come join. Are you...
Oh, I want to go.
Yeah?
If I get the chance to go, I want to go.
Go where?
Absolutely. Up to Missouri. To the capital.
Do you know when that is? Or
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't even looked.
we'll have to like...
We need to do some research on
do
that.
some research on that.
If it's not on a Friday, I'm down.
But then I was also going to ask you, because Jason Raper has said that he's going to be running for lieutenant governor, which is a statewide position, so that means that in that election, everyone in Arkansas, all registered Arkansans, would get to vote on that. So if he follows through with that and does run, have you thought about that and how you might, give him some turnabout and oppose his campaign?
I will definitely, at that point, we need to go ahead and start a petition that he does not do this, and we need to endorse whoever is opposing
We
him.
just need to get people registered to vote at our bars.
It's very true. We just need people to vote, period. Like,
Period.
no matter what.
No, I
When
want
is it? When will this be the election coming up? Or
for the one for lieutenant governor.
for like the presidential election? Will it
This
fall
is
on
the-
that day?
On what day?
On like for the presidential election.
That's this year. This coming November, we'll do the presidential election. Yeah.
God, Trump turnout.
Yeah. So
might be. Maybe we could get
But not just
possibly
that,
go blue and
at the club, at Sway, we have registration forms for people.
Well, we did hosted rallies for different people before that are running for offices, right? Yeah.
But this year, I want to do more, and whoever listens to this and wants to help out or whatever, I think that we need to do a drag them to the polls promotion where it's
Taylor did that in Fayetteville. She got in Jamie's Tahoe and she drove people to the polls that wanted to go.
Because let's be honest, I know people that can't get to the club because they can't get a ride.
Right? Yeah. It's
So
true.
they're not going to make it a priority to get a ride to the fucking polls if they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's true.
But I know there's also, Dan Whitfield's trying to get on the ballot. He's an independent running, but he's progressive. He's trying to run against what's-his-face since Tom Cotton. So, I wanted to get one of those things starting on February 1st when you get signatures. So I was going to get some legal-size forms so we can get people to get more active.
And even though, Jason Raper is completely against LGBTQ plus whatever, I'm not saying that we need someone that is for us, but we need someone that is going to have our back as well as we have their back, and that's what they need to show a community to get those votes. I feel like, so we need them to come out to our bars and to say stuff. We need them to come to our bars and be seen or be heard with our community, so that we can put them out there and we can get their name heard to beat people like Jason Raper, that everyone who doesn't have a soul or a heart in them will not vote for him, because I don't want Jason Raper to win anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's only, he's just one of the cast of characters out there that are saying they are going to run, or are like you mentioned, Tom Cotton is another one that's like, holy fuck, we've got to get him out of power. And the Democrats weren't even able to field a candidate against him for this coming race.
That was such a sketch thing.
There's got to be some more information behind the scenes about that, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders says she's going to be running for governor potentially, or there's a rumor about that.
No.
So yeah, I agree. Those are people who have done things to the detriment of the gay community already.
And not only our community, to a lot of different demographics of things.
Exactly.
It's not just us that people. And we're not just pushing our rights or anything like that.
But we have to get our house in order first and get our fucking community registered and get them to the polls. I mean, that we have to do that, but then we also have to realize, we got to link arms with our fucking sister communities who are also minorities and
And even though people are always like, oh, okay, well, we might not like either one of these, and we're just gonna vote for a random person at the end. That hurts us.
Yeah,
you can't just do that. If you want someone in that office, you got to push for that person no matter what. You can't just vote a third party person in there.
It's not primaries. You just got to Gotta vote for
Yeah. It's one or the other. There's no more of this like just throwing a vote in there to throw a vote.
Mm-hmm. So you did it.
Yeah. Just to get the sticker and post a Facebook status.
Yeah, make the
You know, like,
Not the sticker.
yeah, not just to get the sticker, girl. But it's
oh damn! I was
true.
gonna say I'm gonna show up in drag to vote, but you can't because they're gonna ID you.
Well, Chloe, let's bring it back to you as we kind of wind this up. You mentioned that there's so much more left that you want to accomplish in drag. What is 2020 looking like for you, and what are if you've set goals for yourself, what are they, and what lies ahead? What are you wanting to do? Where are you moving your art?
2020 is going to be the year of travel for me. It's going to be trying to get myself out there more, like in different cities. And if I have the chance to, I don't care if I'm going there for vacation, I'm going to reach out to someone and I'm going to be like, hey, do you have a spot for me? You know, I want to get out there. I want to see what all is there. I want to make the connections to all these different branches of stuff. And I love whenever I can go to a city and walk down the street and run into someone I know, you know, like to say that I know this person down here. So I want to travel. I want my name to get out there for Chloe, and I want my business for Evan to grow, which does kind of stink because you kind of have to learn to balance the two between like taking your weekend job and not letting it go into your week job. But drag is such a escape from everything that's going on, like in the real world, any day, you know, for me at least. And whenever I'm feeling my fantasy out there on a song, I want everyone else to feel that same fantasy for it, you know. I wanna get on Drag Race too. I really do. I think that we need it.
Who would you do for Snatch Game?
Oh my god, that's so hard.
You probably don't want to reveal that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've said this a couple times. You think that we need it. Well, you think that we need an Arkansas queen on Drag Race. Why?
Because Arkansas, I grew up in that small town of 3,000 people.
Uh-huh.
I know what that little boy that's 16, 17 years old that is dancing in front of his mirror to Britney Spears. I want them to know that someone was doing the very same thing that they were doing at one point in their life and push themselves this far to make it to something like that, to make it on TV being who they really were.
Uh-huh.
And the whole world gets to see them. You know? That's what I really want. And I didn't come out until I was like 18, but once I came out at 18, baby, I was out.
Uh-huh.
I was out. I was going to the bars. I was being gay. I was living my best life. But even at 18, I was afraid of drag queens. I would see what it was, and in my mind, it was that assembly of God talking of, you know, of being like, if you do that, you're going straight to hell. So for me, it was like, oh, no, I don't even want to know what this is. I don't want to know anything about this. But in the back of my mind, well, what if? What if I did put a pair of heels on and I went out there and did the same thing? Even though I want to be this cowboy, or I want to ride the horses and be like country, masculine, mask for mask. In the back of my mind, I wonder what it'd be like. You know?
Uh-huh.
And so I know what it's like to be.
Do you think that there are Arkansas kids, like you mentioned, who obviously they, you know, with Drag Race being the thing it is, and they've heard the stories of the queens that have been on the show already and have some idea that, you know, that's possible or it gets better. But do you think that being an actual Arkansas queen on the show would just hit closer to home for them and make it actually seem like attainable? Or I would be someone that I think that a lot of people could relate with, because from doing the story times, being Miss Arkansas, I can't tell you how many kids I met that do dress up at home, or whose parents allow them to do that stuff, or that have parents that have accepted their kids that do that kind of stuff, just because they got the knowledge of it and they got to learn what it actually was versus just Assembly of God speaking or whatever, you know, of this is not good, this is not right, this is not okay. But now they're learning that people aren't just waking up one day and saying that they want to do that.
that this is just something that people do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's trans, cross-dressing, dressing in drag, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My experience of learning what people do in their private life or what people do on their nighttime job, as I call it, versus daytime job, there's a lot of things that people don't know, you know, that people keep behind closed doors, and it eats them apart. It tears them apart. And so we just got to let people live. And I think that people would relate to me because I was that kid that did it in the quiet or that was in the background and didn't want anybody to notice me riding horses, but yet I'd be with my little ear pods in or my little earbuds in listening to the Beyonce and the Britney Spears, and whenever my roommates went to sleep, I'd go steal one of their dresses and go put it on and do a whole Beyonce Halo performance in the living room. You know?
You know, I think that you're right that it would hit closer to home for kids in Arkansas if there was an Arkansas queen, but I think that it would... you would have to be very cognizant about how you handle your career after Drag Race, because I think that if you got on Drag Race and then you're like, all right, now I'm a woman of the world and I'm playing Bogota tomorrow or whatever, and you just are never home,
right? Then how would I still connect to those kids? And that is something that has always that's always been with me, is that I just don't want to be the one that gets big and then I forget about all of the other people. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of them do.
Yeah. What about, so I didn't really give you the best intro. You've done a lot of shit at Sway throughout your career. You're one of the very few people that have hosted an episode of Fresh Fish. You were
When was that? That was was that season 3?
It was season 2? I don't know.
It was probably 2.
You were the host of the limited game show series Drink and Drag, which I've loved.
I went to one of those and I had a blast. I actually kind of want to see that again.
Maybe we'll bring it back.
It was so, you all were so charismatic and just so good.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, I remember that. No, I really do. And I see, is that the stuff that's up by the phone? That always.
No, I love that show.
Yeah.
I felt like it didn't get the audience it should have. Maybe we need a different time slot for it or something.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I would be interested in doing that again.
We can bring it back.
We have the set.
Right. We didn't really talk about how all of your pageantry experience. You did that for several years and finally captured well, I shouldn't say finally. You've only been doing drag for 8 years total.
Right.
So, but
it was finally.
And you peaked at Miss Gay Arkansas.
And that was the end of my career.
Miss Gay Arkansas 2018. Are you looking at the pageant world, or are you are there things that you want to pursue?
I do want to do. I want to do other pageants.
Systems,
I want to do other systems.
Would you do Fresh Fish Classic?
Classy.
I was going to ask you, as someone who has never, before I never even considered pageantry, lately it's been I kind of want a taste of it. What do you see me doing? What system?
What system? Entertainer of the Year.
Everyone keeps saying this, but we don't have this here.
We could get it. All it takes is a promoter.
We talked about this with Chanel last. We talked with Chanel about this, I think.
I mean, there's a pageant. There's a Bearded Queen National pageant too.
Well, we don't care about that. Only for Lady Sasquatch we care about it. But every other queen that I don't like Harry King, we don't care about it.
And I'm not. I do think that pageants, the different systems, they might put you in a box in some sort of way, or steer you in one lane to it. That's why I want to go into the different lanes of the pageants, because I've thought about Entertainer of the Year myself. I mean, I really have, just because you can go so wide with it and do whatever you really want to do. And all I've ever done is the America system.
You never did Miss Gay USA, or?
Never did it.
Is Entertainer of the Year specifically only for queens?
No, they have a male too.
But it's a different category. It's not everybody together.
No, it's it's separate categories, and I think they have or at least I know they tried to have a film category.
Okay. Who can we talk to about this? Because I would love to.
That would be a neat thing.
I'd love to have it at the club. I don't know that I want to also be the promoter.
Also,
of it,
Right.
can we have like a rigged pageant for me to win that you judge? Just like as a
rigged.
like literally like as a not even like a prize package, but can we like set up a night where we do this fake pageant and Lady Kassandra ends up winning something in her life because she has lost so
Now it's
much.
Fresh Fish Duel.
I lost that too, but that was rigged, bitch. We knew that, just so you all know, I knew going into it that I wasn't going to win. I was just a fucking filler queen.
Well, we all need those. Who was the last promoter of Entertainer of the Year here?
Wasn't it Taylor?
It was. It was the year that Trinity Taylor was
Okay.
Entertainer of the Year. Buffet, that's her name, is the reigning queen for Entertainer of the Year right now. I competed with her at Miss America 2 years ago. But I mean, there's all sorts of pageants that you can do, girl. You can do whatever
She
you
have a
want.
pageant called Little Miss White.
Little Miss
God.
White. Little Miss White Christmas. That's too funny.
For Lady Kassandra to win. Who else falls into the category? No
Just
one
so
else.
you can win one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I wanna go to different pageant systems again for the connections too, because you meet people that sew, you meet people that do hair, that
I sew now.
but you don't want to sew for nobody else.
I'm still learning. I only did it for 2 months, and I'm able to, like, I've pulled out some shit.
I can tell.
And I'm excited for the next year, personally. I'm not to talk about me. I've been trying not to talk about me.
It's a hard job for you.
It really is hard. I've waited till now.
We can talk
We're
about
gonna
you
cut
when
it
you make
off.
me one of those outfits.
I might, as soon as I'm like, I'm going to try a few more styles.
So in
and
2
get more
years?
comfortable.
So in 2 years,
I'm already on it for the next, I'm already
starting your next
concept for-
project.
Mhm.
There you go.
Ordering stuff.
Sewing is something that I've been trying to learn myself too.
You don't sew.
I never have.
And you think you should get on RuPaul's Drag Race?
That's why I'm learning. You better step your pussy up before you get up on there.
Like, it's a bitch at first, but it's...
Once you get
yeah.
Dress Barn was going out of sale, and they had mannequins. Every mannequin that I found online was like $100 or something like that.
Do you have
Girl,
an
I called
extra?
them I might know where one's at actually.
Actually, yeah, can you let me know?
Definitely. I called them the day that they were closing, and they said, you can come up here and pick this one up for $10. I was like, girl, I'm on my way. I got 3. She said, I'll let you buy all of these. I was like, where am I going to put them? I'm going to have to get a U-Haul just to take these hoes
What
home.
about the horse trailer?
Just let them hang out there in the top
Racks
of the
in there.
barn. It'd be a good little scarecrow for a garden or something.
Well, Chloe Jacobs, it has been a pleasure talking with you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
We can't wait to have you back at the club for featuring on Friday, February 7th. That's our monthly open stage night. If you're an entertainer and looking to for a booking or just a way to start, hit Chloe or Sway up.
I think that it would be really cool that whoever comes out, if we did like a little friendly competition with it and like got to like hang out with me one night while I was getting ready and like learn the tricks and something, I can give that away as like a little prize or something.
Oh, yeah, a little
I was
behind.
going to
Yeah.
say, I'll do this, but now I'm like, never mind.
I don't want to know what she does. I don't need to see her backstage. I don't need to see her backstage moments. It's hilarious.
Well, thank y'all for listening. We'll be back with our next edition of Buffering when our host will be, or our guest, I should say, will be McKenna Michaels.
Yes,
McKenna! I love her.
Thanks for listening to Buffering, another piece of queer content direct from Arkansas, only at Sway.